Hello, welcome to the new session of virology, and today we are starting with viral hepatitis. So the objective of today's session are we will discuss brief about viral hepatitis, and we will be discussing individual viruses which are causing it. That would include hepatitis A, hepatitis C virus, hepatitis D virus, and hepatitis E virus. Hepatitis B virus, which is also one of the important cause of viral hepatitis, we will have a separate lecture on that, so that would be the next lecture. So in today's lecture we'll say this much. So let's start what viral hepatitis is. If you want to define it, you can call it it is a primary infection of the liver by any one of the heterogeneous group of hepatitis virus. When we call it heterogeneous, it means that though all are affecting the liver, taxonomically they are from the different group. So that is viral hepatitis, and the notable viruses are hepatitis A virus, hepatitis B virus, hepatitis C virus, hepatitis D virus, hepatitis E virus, and hepatitis G virus. So basically in any viral hepatitis there would be liver damage, that is the primary effect of it, and due to that there would be icteric symptoms, or in common word we call it jaundice. In Gujarati, patient come with the symptoms that kamlo or the jaundice, that is the symptoms of that liver damage. The classical hepatitis viruses are A and B, because for the major part of the history of medicine people were knowing these two viruses only, and later on after 70s, in 80s, they found out that there are certain virus which does not belong to either A or B, but still are causing hepatitis. So they were known as non-A, non-B hepatitis, that is NANBH, and that include three notable viruses, that is hepatitis C, hepatitis D, and hepatitis E viruses. Now we know that hepatitis C and are separate entity, so the recent text would denote it as a separate virus, but if you see the old literature of medicine, you will find that they are most of the time they are referred as a NANBH, that is non-A non-B hepatitis. And hepatitis G virus is basically a misnomer. Basically hepatitis G virus does not affect the liver at all. There is no link with some disease. They are found in bone marrow, but there is no link with some disease, and it does not require even treatment. So that is but as they are related to this virus, they are in this group. So if you want to differentiate or classify viral hepatitis, first you see there are certain viruses which are transmitted by parental routes, and that includes hepatitis B, hepatitis D virus, and hepatitis C virus. Now this parental route includes, one is blood and blood products by transfusion or anything, injection, needle stick injury. These are the blood and blood products, and the other route is a sexual route. Even mother to fetus is also possible. So basically these all are parental routes. The other kind of hepatitis which is transmitted by fecal-oral route means it is virus are shedded or shedded in the feces, and through contaminated food or water they would enter in the person and cause the infection. So two are very important. One is hepatitis A virus and other is hepatitis E virus. So basically these five important hepatitis virus, and of which we will discuss four today. Okay, so we start with hepatitis A virus. Basically, it is a non-enveloped virus in the group of picornavirus. Now, it has given separate family, that is hepatovirus. This is its structure, where capsid is there. You can see that is there, no envelope is there. The simple capsid is there and its RNA is there. This is electron microscope photograph of the same virus. So that is hepatitis A virus that produces infectious hepatitis. Earlier there are two terminology which were used. Infectious means fecal-oral transmission, and other was known as serum hepatitis, that is blood-borne transmission. So in serum, basically B, D and C, and infectious means A and E. So mode of transmission, as we have already discussed, it is fecal oral route. The risk factor, you know that are poor hygiene, overcrowding, contaminated food, international traveler and homosexuals. In India, it is particularly seen in children, and it is always many times associated with rainfall, because rainfall would facilitate the sewage water to drinking water, or by the flies or anything. If that virus get the chance to enter in the water supply, the potable water supply or the food, it may produce the infection. The pathogenesis is very simple. Enter by the contaminated food. Incubation period is around 15 to 50 days. It would replicate in oropharynx and GI tract, and finally it would reach to liver, where it would grow and shed in the stool. And when it grows in the liver, it would damage the liver, which increases the bilirubin. So patient would have jaundice. So these are the symptoms of jaundice. The skin becomes yellowish, here you can see, and the sclera is also yellow. So that is the symptom. The dark yellowish brown color urine, that is also one of the symptom of jaundice. So these are the basic symptoms. The diagnosis of hepatitis A is based on its clinical data and liver function test. Direct detection can be done, but it is not used to diagnose the hepatitis A. Otherwise, serology can be done. In cell culture, they are very difficult to grow, so it is not done to diagnose. It is restricted for research and other purpose only. In serology, which is the best way to diagnose, IgM and IgG both are there. IgM is the acute, means in recent infection, IgM would rise, and IgG would rise after some time, but then it would stay lifelong. Liver enzyme would increase, bilirubin would increase, and based on the sharp rise of liver enzyme, you can diagnose hepatitis A. In hepatitis B, it would be gradual rise and fluctuating level in hepatitis C and other. The vaccine is also available for hepatitis A virus. Usually the travelers from the developed country, when they enter into the endemic countries like India, they would take the vaccine. And in India, we are giving this vaccine in the childhood to prevent the hepatitis A virus infection. Now we are coming to very important virus, and that is hepatitis C virus. Recently, if you have come across this news, 3 scientists were awarded Nobel Prize of this year. That is Harvey, Michael and Charles. They all have worked in the field of hepatitis C virus. They have worked very hard to find what hepatitis C virus is, because it was very difficult to demonstrate the proof of that virus. The Harvey, who has also worked with Bloomberg in the discovery of the hepatitis B virus, he found out that many person, because hepatitis B virus at that time was screened in the blood. When we transfused the blood, we were screening hepatitis B virus, and still the post-transfusion hepatitis was there, and out of that 80% were of non-A, non-B type. So he was thinking that there might be some virus who is transmitting, and these three scientists has worked well, and their efforts has made us the testing of this virus possible. So testing kit was developed and its pathogenesis was understood, so we could devise the treatment for this virus. So there is a great impact in reducing the morbidity and mortality due to hepatitis C virus. If you want to read it further, you can see on this link which is given in this slide. So you can see what they have worked and what hepatitis C virus and what is the magnitude of the problem is. So if we describe it, basically they are flavivirus, also known as Hep C virus, single-stranded positive sense RNA, and there is a marked genetic heterogeneity due to hypervariable region. So a vaccine is not possible against hepatitis C. Vaccine is available against hepatitis A as well as hepatitis B. Rest of for hepatitis virus, there is no vaccine available. The transmission is it is like blood-borne parenteral transmission. So blood transfusion, injection drug use, needle stick injury, tattooing without proper aseptic precaution, and high risk sexual contact. So these are the modes of transmission, and how it would, what is the pathogenesis, how it would transmit, how it would progress. So there would be acute infection, of which 20 to 50% would recover after the symptom, while in majority of the person, that is 50 to 80%, there would be development of chronic hepatitis. The chronicity is very long. It may take 20 to 30 years to develop, but 80% people of that they remain stable, but in almost 20% people it may develop cirrhosis, or it may develop cirrhosis with hepatocellular carcinoma. So this virus has a potential to produce cancer. So that is the problem with this virus. Luckily now we have got treatment against this, so that has reduced the mortality. Laboratory diagnosis, antibody can be detected, but however antibody would develop after some time. So in acute phase of infection, antibody test would be negative. HCV antigen can be detected in acute phase, and RNA by PCR can be detected. So this is how it would appear, that this is the period where there are symptoms. Clear? So up to first 3 to 4 months, and the antibody would start rising after 3rd month. So in the at that time HCV RNA is detectable in the blood, so antibody test may be negative, but RNA is positive, and by that you can diagnose this disease. Prevention, as I've said, there is no vaccine, so we have to be very careful. Screening of blood, organ and tissue donors should be done, and high risk behavior modification like IV drug user and unsafe sex should be prevented. Hepatitis D virus, that is Delta virus. Now this is basically a defective virus, which does not have capacity to produce infection on its own. So if somebody gets infection of only hepatitis D, there would be no infection at all. It needs simultaneous infection of the hepatitis B virus. So if person receives HBV plus HDV both, then there would be infection of HDV. Or person who previously has hepatitis B virus and that person receives HDV, there would be infection. And when HDV enters in person who is already having hepatitis B virus infection, it would increase the severity of the disease. That's why it is important. But alone this virus cannot produce the infection. Now the very important other virus is hepatitis E virus. Basically again that is a single stranded RNA virus. Mode of transmission is fecal-oral and frequently it produces epidemics, mostly due to when drinking water supply gets contaminated by fecal material, there would be epidemic of hepatitis E virus. Incubation is basically all this thing is very similar to hepatitis A virus. There would be jaundice but not having much problem. There is no chronic sequel and person would recover after some time. But case fatality rate is around 1 to 3%, but in pregnant female it is very dangerous, and especially in third trimester. If that pregnant female is having hepatitis A virus, the mortality is significantly high, up to 15 to 25%. Otherwise the chronic sequel is not identified. Lab diagnosis, again like hepatitis A virus, there would be rise in the liver enzymes, and demonstration of the virus can be done in this tool during incubation period and acute phase, and its antibody detection of IgG and IgM can be possible with ELISA. Epidemiology of hepatitis A and E both are common in developing countries or the tropics or Asia, including China and India, Africa and the South American countries. These are the countries where it is frequently seen and may cause outbreak due to contamination of drinking water supply. Sometime the uncooked shellfish and fruits, vegetable can also transmit this infection. And last virus of the session, and that is hepatitis G virus. It is enveloped single-stranded RNA flavivirus. The mode of infection is blood-borne, but it does not produce hepatitis. So that is the thing. It is very benign clinical course. It is isolated many times from various agent, detect by ELISA, and its RNA also is produced. But till now there is no link with any disease. Many times it is found in person with HIV are also having co-infection of hepatitis G virus, but it is not producing any illness even in immunocompromised host. On the contrary, it is seen that the person of HIV having HGV would give better response to treatment of antiviral drug. So that's hepatitis G virus. So this is the summary. Hepatitis A, which causes infectious hepatitis, fecal-oral and mild disease. Clear? And vaccine is possible, is available against that. Hepatitis C is commonly known as non-A, non-B transfusion hepatitis, commonly transmitted by blood, but can be even by sexual or vertical transmission. Chronic sequel is there, may lead to sometime cirrhosis and hepatocellular carcinoma. Hepatitis D, as I have said, it is defective virus or the delta agent, which requires hepatitis B virus infection for its infection, and hepatitis E is non A non B but which is enteric transmitted, fecal-oral. These clinical symptoms are exactly similar to hepatitis A. The only difference is it is producing more complication and fatality rate in pregnant female. So with this we finish the first part of viral hepatitis. Hepatitis B virus lecture, which is also very important, that would be followed by the next lecture. So thank you very much. Feel free to ask any query if you have. Thank you.